multiply this strategy. Like for us, we came with a very, very we tested our product in other region. I'm talking about the first wellness benefit startup. We tested and we came with the product, and it took like 2 years to build this PR kind of
companies are buying, like large corporations are buying these small AI companies just so they can advance their AI stack. But all these small AI companies are at the POC stage. So getting those simple use cases right, making them simple, is what I feel many founders are missing. So they're trying to go extend,
like too pushy with that because especially in our region, like in Arab country, if someone is telling you, yeah, we will discuss it, inshallah, and all of the things, it doesn't mean that you need to follow up. Sometimes it's a very, very hidden no.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of What About AI Agents. Today we have Sofiya Eremenko with us, who is a founder of Aimly. She's also a CEO and co-founder of LifeMost, and basically they build out AI workflows and AI workflow agents. And really interested to hear about your experiences building agents and your kind of learned insights that could be helpful to our audience. Hi, Sophia.
Out loud about this and found out that many other teams and projects are actually interested like in AI adoption, and many of managers and other founders have this fear of missing out because like there's so much happening in the space. And that's how I came into this second part of my intro with this AI agency Aimly. And what we do right now, like we help mostly SMEs to adopt AI, like from one side, from building awareness inside the team, inside the management, like what are opportunities, what are limitations of this technology, because in many cases it's too early to start with AI agents and AI automations because people even don't take ChatGPT seriously. That's why we need to build this awareness and then move into automations. That's like the second part of what we do. And yeah, that's why also the important disclaimer, I would say that I mostly work with non-technical teams and like with founders who are not CTOs, because of course, like there are two different worlds of AI adoption, like within super tech guys and within regular business people. And that's why most of what we will be discussing today will be less about development, more about this simple regular people adoption. And there are many Silicon Valley guys who are talking about AGI and all this stuff, and there are huge mass of people who are not building AI workflows seriously right now. That's why my mission, and I guess the mission of this podcast, is to bridge this gap. So yeah, happy to join the discussion.
Yeah, and to your point, there is a huge gap between, for example, how agents are being used by the developers who are building out a lot of things with vibe coding and stuff like that, and regular people who are, talking to ChatGPT about their personal issues and not really realizing the value of agentic automation just yet. And mind you, agentic automation does have its issues and does hallucinate a lot. But so how do you help businesses? So how do you help businesses on the operational end? Like how do like I understand that they want things automated. But in many cases their like internal processes are really really poorly defined, and it's like all tacit knowledge basically. So how do you approach this? Like in
Yeah, that's actually a good point, because many people, many business owners just want like the automation because everyone is talking about this, everyone is talking about AI. But usually when we do, the discovery connection with the potential client, potential project, the first step is always to unlock if there is actually pain, if there actually problem exists, if there is any business process already in place. Because if there is no process that someone like doing even manually like just human labor in the team, most probably you won't be able to automate it like with success because first flag that there might be something that we can work with is that you have a really basic checklist of really simple stupid tasks like for one business process. Then we can maybe move from here. But like if the business process doesn't even exist, probably we won't be able to take it from there because I mean it just doesn't make sense and it will not benefit like will not bring any benefit for the business. That's why I usually do this exercise with every stakeholder, every project leader. We just do the like journaling exercise within the week, trying to describe all of the processes and workflows their team is doing right now. I follow it by like 60. It's very simple to memorize. Like I just ask them to think about task trigger, like what starts this process. Like it doesn't start every day at let's say 9 a.m. or maybe there is some condition in it. So you have to understand and kind of scan this, like the time, how much time it takes, like what's important in the speed, like the tolerance of this process. Is it risky or not? Because of course, for example, client-facing communication and all of external communication, it's too risky right now for many automations and agentic workflows. That's why it's also important to unlock talent. Another T, if like there is any expertise of the manager required, or is it just very very logic based task without any human presence needed, and the tools that are used. Because what I faced, like many companies, they use really closed systems that are not integratable with external tools. That's why it's also really important to scope out like what are the tools and if we need to build any customized APIs, for example, to connect to them, because it also influences like the metrics of decision making if we will be doing any agentic automation here. So this journal task, sometimes it highlights the issues in the process itself, and it goes in internal discussions and not into building agentic workflows and just unlocking just business problems. So it's useful for them in any way. Or if we like found and spotted the processes that would suit the agentic workflow, that then we take it from there. And another thing that I always recommend to projects and like what we started with is like getting and collecting the data, because any AI workflow is as effective as the data you're working with. That's why if you want to start playing with any AI automation, AI agents, try to build the automation that is collecting your internal data, because for especially SMEs, it's very hard, to have let's say separate roles and positions of people that are collecting data manually. That's why our first automation usually it's like to get this data. And even in my startup, like the very very first thing that we've built is collecting the internal knowledge base based on sales calls, because we are B2B startup, like we're selling wellness programs to corporates. And we have a big sales team and we have a marketing team, and to synchronize them we really needed some extra meetings, some extra communication. And for us it was crucial to collect this data from the calls about our clients, like and analyze it semantically, to see what are the pain points of the clients, what are their current solutions, what they're satisfied with or what they're not satisfied with. And it actually gave us so many insights that we couldn't grab from just human to human communication, because we're based in Dubai and we have super international team, and
Yeah.
like sales managers, they were mostly men, and like when they were listening to the like when they're talking to the clients, it's just like very specific example, but like it actually happened to us, and highlighting why collecting data is important. Like when they were talking to the clients, like HR managers, they never heard that actually many of them mentioned the problem of wellness of working moms. Like it sounds very specific, and like single man sales managers never noticed that. And like when we started collecting all of this data, and when we pulled together this database and connected to our like RAG marketing bot, and when marketing managers started trying to unlock some insights from this database, we actually got this insight, and like we used it for many marketing communications. Like we built some webinars about this topic, and it actually grabbed so many attention. Like we grew like the leads that we attracted through these webinars like by 40%, just because it was very catchy and like spot on topic. That's why, yeah, I usually put this example as very like to highlight the importance of collecting the data, and like what it can unlock and how it can influence your company performance.
Yeah, that makes sense. People tend to overlook very obvious little things, especially they're collecting data. Everybody has like a note taker or transcriber, but nobody really does much with that data. And I'm sure there is a lot of powerful unlocks. Some of the companies that we talk to are, doing that at scale. So they're building this AI powered mode that basically in the background you don't see those operational agents, but they're automating things and they're collecting more and more data, so things are becoming more and more agentic driven in those type of companies. So I imagine the companies you talk to in Dubai, it's a mix because I know I have a few clients in that region, and you never know what you get. You either get brilliant people or you get very prehistoric companies. So how do you deal with like prehistoric companies, and how do you convince them to, because they have the same problems but they are not like super advanced?
Yeah, I mean, as agency founder, I think that's like the gold mine. Because when I think it's less about technology and less about the selling AI itself, more about building the trust with these people, because of course they hear about all of this noise, but they are just too scared because they don't know some specific possibilities for their specific company. And like once you just build the relationships with them through maybe 10 coffee dates and like getting into the like trust circle.
Right. So yeah, and I think we were, before we got the disconnect, we were discussing about the application of AI agents at scale. So some of the specific examples that you have seen that were impressive on your end.
Yeah, sure. So as I mentioned, like we have like my first startup is a corporate wellness benefits platform, and we mostly work in B2B space, and our clients are enterprise companies. And that's why like first thought, like first process that we would focus on and see like if we can implement AI agents was of course the sales process and like the process of communication with the clients. And I think it was quite a failure experience because we first like tried to like we have the automation of our CRM pipeline based on some conditions based on the like next follow-up touch point, but we also wanted to to get more time to our sales managers for doing some offline meetings, offline catch-ups, and wanted to automate this whole follow-up communication with the clients. And it wasn't a good idea like at the end because whatever like how it worked for us, we had our sales recording, and the AI automation, the AI agent would uncover like what is the date of the next follow-up, like fill it in the CRM, and then later we'll connect with the lead on that date and with the like whatever was discussed. But like in many cases there were many cultural and like human details that the sales manager would consider and the AI agent would not. That's why we got like too pushy with that, because especially in our region, like in Arab country, if someone is telling you, yeah, we will discuss it, inshallah, and all of the things, it doesn't mean that you need to follow up. Sometimes it's a very, very hidden no. That's why for us, this communication was a fail. But what works for us at scale right now with AI automations is like we don't push these AI agents directly to communicate with the client, but we equip our sales managers with like a whole knowledge base about our product, because we build kind of complex wellness programs around physical and mental health. And sometimes like when they're communicating and doing like account management with the client, they need to know many details, and sometimes it takes like around 1 day to figure out if we can pull together these parts of the program and then get back to the client with the reply. And once we set up the system with the AI support agent that is connected to our knowledge base about our product, about our successful implementations with previous clients, then like our sales manager would quickly ask and communicate with the system. The agent would go into like different data sets and come back with the question without having, to touch point with IT team, without having to talk to the founders. That's how like we reduced the time of getting back to the client with some, follow up details about like some technical details about the program that we can implement. We reduced it to like 1 hour instead of sometimes taking 1 day, because you don't need to, set up different calls with different teams and pull together the reply. So for us, that works as well. And I think in general, many SMEs like face this issue with a support bot, that it's quite it's quite difficult and comprehensive system to set up such a system. That's why maybe sometimes you should look into, internal support bot that will support your support manager and like enhance and increase the speed of answers, rather than connecting this bot directly to the client communication. And sometimes it could bring some bad reputation, especially like it happened with big companies when the bot was over pleaser and like promised some discounts or promotions that never existed. I think some airline company had this issue. So even like big companies face this. So if you're SME, maybe you should look into this kind of not like autopilot AI agents, but Copilot AI agents.
Yeah, I think Copilots it's a much better thing in general. We've had similar issues trying to personalize emails at scale, and it will go
Yeah.
in the personalized email for 10,000 people, and then just make a bunch of stuff up, and then you send out 10,000 emails that potentially just made stuff up, and then people are asking,
Yeah.
"Oh, can you do that?" And like, no, we just made that up. So that doesn't really
Yeah.
work well. It's funny that
Yeah.
you
Then
talk
you
about
need.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine that you talk about the cultural, yeah, cultural nuances, especially in the Arabic world, right? We found out that the hardest way with the real-time voice when we tried to implement it in the GCC region, and we're like, "Oh, look, it speaks Arabic," and they're like, "No, it speaks Lebanese Arabic or it speaks Egyptian Arabic. It's not the same as Saudi Arabic, and and Saudi Arabic is not the same as Qatari Arabic or." It's not the same as UAE Arabic. They are similar, but they're very different from Egyptian Arabic. And you find that out the hard way when you actually start to do these implementations. And not all Arabic is the same. And there's lots of cultural nuances that you have to think even within a region, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's very complex thing, and even like I'm learning Arabic myself just to be able, to understand these nuances as well. And uh, even I was testing just different assistants like chatbots as ChatGPT or Gemini. I was testing it to help me with some learning, and I compared the outcomes with my like teacher, like with his reaction. And we found out that the best culturally nuanced is like our Gemini models, in case someone is learning and someone wants to connect it to some through some APIs for their AI agents. But still, it's like very, very complex thing. One is like language, understanding of some dialect specific words, but also like the intention behind these words, because I mean, that's very, very difficult in UAE, especially for Western people, when like no one would say no to you, no one would explain like their decision. You would have to go on maybe like 10 meetings, coffee catch-ups, discuss family issues, and do not very small talks, and then move into some business specific discussions. So I think for now AI is not able to do that and to automate this kind of communication.
Yeah, and it's very strange, and it's a very strange region to sell into for sure, especially when you're selling AI solutions, because everybody's always super excited, then you don't hear anything, and you're like, well, they don't want it, and then somebody comes back to 6 months later, and then like, oh yeah, they were thinking about it. Just it's a different
Yeah.
environment. So how does I don't know if you so you only sell your solution right now in Dubai and in basically in the GCC region, right? So I guess
Yeah.
you don't sell into Europe or the US.
Yeah.
So, um, so I guess for you, it's just adapting the culture of the LLMs to the region. So, what are some other specific things that you've learned and some earned insights that you've acquired through that, through those adaptations of like chat systems over into the GCC region? Because it is a region that many companies want to expand into, and there is a lot of AI hype there and a lot of AI investments. So, some of earned insight would be, I think, appreciated by some of our listeners.
Yeah, sure. That's a very tricky region. Like from outside, it feels that like a lot is happening, and all the money of the world is here, and you can just grab these dirhams from the palm. But to be honest, like my first ever advice to any company that is trying to launch here is not to build the product first. I think it's still like in the lean startup kind of frameworks, but it's like just triple X multiply this strategy. Like for us, we came with a very, very like we tested our product in other region. I'm talking about the first wellness benefit startup we tested, and we came with the product, and it took like 2 years to build this PR kind of activity, to get this reputation kind of activity. So this region is all about trust and building your kind of personal brand, and then building the product itself. That's why any pipeline should start only like about awareness, only meeting people, building community first, and then maybe converting them into clients, especially in B2B sales. Regarding like specifically regarding AI solutions, my recent insight was that like first I positioned myself as like I have three products. I have AI consulting, I have AI workshops for your team, I have AI automation, like these kind of systems. But recent insight is that it should be like the pipeline, because yes, everyone is talking about AI. Many people have this fear of missing out, but honestly, not that many companies actually tested even small iterations with ChatGPT. That's why first you build this wow effect with just AI workshop, and just bring some mm, maybe not even business related use cases to these decision makers. Maybe you should tell at this workshop just basic stuff like how to use ChatGPT to plan your kid's birthday, and then it brings this wow effect to these people, like just to see to touch this AI thingy that they haven't tested yet, and then move into some business specific like implementation specific issues, because even like I work with SMEs mostly, but I have friends like project that is working in computer vision, and they're working with like really huge enterprise companies like factories, and they sell AI solutions to them, and they were also invited to host just workshop for executives around AI. And the first part, like they brought really cool, deep and case-based materials about like fintech. I think it was for some financial companies, financial groups, like about AI agents in fintech industry, and like no one was interested. And then once they changed the second part of this workshop into the just using AI for personal stuff, then it was really a huge success. So maybe in this region it feels like a lot is happening, but there are not many like very advanced decision makers who actually have seen and tested it themselves. That's why maybe you should build this wow effect first and then move into explaining more about business related AI. So that was my recent insight.
Yeah, and I think it's true for many, many regions. People who are in AI or deep into AI, they think everybody knows everything about it. But the reality is, people have some basic applications and some basic knowledge of it. They use ChatGPT, they use LLMs. And when you come to them with this really, really advanced, battle tested use cases, in many cases, they're going to be like, well, I don't understand this. And, you
Yeah.
know, in our SaaS, what I've learned was that we were launching these really advanced AI features, and I realized that most of the people don't really understand even the basic AI features. And when you're bringing them like these
Yeah.
super
Mhm.
advanced features, they're like, well, they it doesn't click for them yet because the time isn't right. It's about the timing. So eventually,
Yeah.
this tech is going mainstream now, and within the next 5 years, it's going to go even more mainstream. So these advanced use cases will have more applications later on. But this is why right now, some of our guests always say we're at the POC stage. So many people are doing this AI POCs now, a lot of acquisitions are happening in this space now too. Companies are buying, like large corporations are buying these small AI companies just so they can advance their AI stack. But all these small AI companies are at the POC stage. So getting those simple use cases right, making them simple, is what I feel many founders are missing. So they're trying to go extensive and deep, but extensive and deep doesn't always mean that people will understand what you're trying to offer them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. I feel this year is all about this step back because like everyone was too overhyped and overwhelmed with all of this AI is too powerful, like we're gonna die and all of this stuff. And like now everyone is seeing that like there are many ridiculous outcomes when you try to implement AI everywhere. And yeah, I feel now it's good for everyone who tested the advanced solutions because you will be ahead of time. But it's everyone need to breathe a bit and start again with really more simple applications.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a great insight and something that many people miss because they all. But I guess in the U.S. is different. In the U.S., everybody is building agents now, and there is like a huge push for AIization of everything versus other regions where it's much slower or where people heard they love the hype. I mean, if you were at GTEx last year, everybody was screaming AI, but I am yet to see these extremely valuable AI implementations at large scale that actually like involve LLMs because uh, LLM is like 95% right, but 95% is not always good, especially when you're talking about business outcomes or you're talking about reputational outcomes and damages. So what are some of the I guess compliance or so some sort of safeguard insights that you can share with our listeners in regards to safeguarding the and consumers of the AI products, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I mean, for many SMEs, the first safeguard is to think for second time, like if you really need this AI agent to be client facing, because in many cases it will save you from really bad outcomes. But like how it works within our clients, it's just about extensive period of testing because this kind of technology is still a bit unpredictable, especially if you like if your business process is kind of fresh and like haven't been tested too heavily like for many years, and you even when you're doing it manually, you don't know the outcomes all the time. That's why we always put the really extensive period of testing, like at least 1 month, better if you can afford several months. And just to, I know, like for advanced users, it could sound like a very simple thing, but I would tell you like 80% of SMEs don't do that, like to log every step that LLM is doing. So to log every outcome during this testing, to be able to come back and see like which step was broken. Again, it sounds very ridiculously simple, but honestly, I've seen it in 80% of cases that people just launch the agent and don't see what's happening behind, especially if it's like in low or no code automations. You just see the outcomes when you're building it. You're satisfied with these 5 or maybe 10 scenarios that you've seen, but you never expect what kind of tricky stuff can happen on a scale. That's why like extensive period of testing and logging every step that LLM is taking, I think for SMEs it are the main safeguards that they can afford.
Yeah, people tend not to pay attention to everything, and that gets lost. Those are
Yeah.
extremely valuable insights, Sophia, and I feel like there's a lot that we've discussed during this call. So, if some of our listeners are from this region, so it would be interesting to kind of hear how they can get in touch with you, how they can contact you for to kind of get some of your expertise in place, or request for your services, of how they get in touch with you and how do they book your workshop and whatnot.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm pretty happy and open to be sharing insights about this market separately, like just about launching your business, no matter if it's AI or not AI. Because in general, I've seen a lot like throughout this three years I'm here. That's why maybe we could leave. I'm not sure how it works. Like maybe we could leave my email just for this connection regarding the market kind of talk. But regarding the AI solutions and AI workshops, if you're interested to get one for your team, my agency is called Aimly. And I think we could also maybe leave the link in the description. I'm not sure how it works in podcast, but yeah, it's called Aimly. So I would be happy if you book the call through the website. It's pretty straightforward.
Thank you so much, Sophia, and we really appreciated your insights on the show. It was great to have you. We'd love to have you back again to see how you've progressed, maybe in a year or so, how things have changed. So, always great to have you. I've had some technical issues during this chat, but it's good we got a chance to catch up and finish the episode. So, thank you so much for being on the show. I really appreciate it, and hopefully, we get to see you again. And best of luck with Emily, and hopefully, we get a chance to collaborate again.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was very great talk, and yeah, like AI is progressing, we're progressing, so would be happy to connect again. And cheers to our conversation.
Cheers.